Hey folks, this is Vince with Dan's Gaming Addiction, and on May 20th, 2023, I was invited down to Game Masters in Westview as part of their Day of Developers Part 3 event. This is a day where many developers come down to show off their games, and the general public can come in, try out those games, get more information, and just have a good time doing it. So the first game I wanted to highlight was a cute little game called Kleingarten, being developed by Adam over at Tunnel Monster Collective. Great guy. He's actually developing 3 different games right now: Chef's Table, Regenerate, and this game, Kleingarten. Now, Chef's Table is the closest to being finished right now. Kleingarten is a roll and write game. Ida Lee played against the developer, and I did what I did best and stayed behind the camera. And in this game, the active player will roll the dice, and it's a dice drafting mechanic. Players will take a die one at a time and use the resources on their die to fill in various spaces on their individual roll and write sheets. And the more efficiently you fill in your spaces on your sheet, the more points you get. Now, in addition to that, players get a free check anywhere they want to. So if you roll poorly with your resource or draft poorly with your resource, you can still get like a wild fill-in on anyone's turn, which is really nice. But in addition to that, there are cards in the middle of the table, and players will be spending resources not only to fill in stuff on their sheet, but they're going to be trying to buy these cards as well because they contain victory points. There's even extra temporary dice players can grab as well and roll and try and get some kind of random resource out of. But it's a really tough game. I was looking at it. It plays quickly, but there's still a lot of thinky going on. And I gotta say, I'm really looking forward to this one. Adam also had this to say about Chef's Table.
Playing with me, that was wonderful.
Savagely pummeled me into the ground.
No. It was luck.
No way.
While I have you here, you said, again, we talked about this off camera, but Chef's Table, what's the current status of that?
It's the final development phase right now. We are, the game, I would say, is 99.9% developed.
Okay.
We're finalizing one mechanic, and then once we, it's going to involve a custom die. We're sort of, there's a couple of different challenge modes in the game, and we were looking for one mode that sort of bridged the gap between making it, you got your light introductory version of the game, the base version, and then it jumped a little bit to the challenge modes were a little too hard. We wanted something in the middle of the road for families.
Gotcha. Okay.
So it's going to add a mouse mechanic. And in the game, the mouse is going to consume action spaces and dice on the board. So that's the last piece. And then to review copies, and we're looking at October.
Okay.
But the cool thing I think will be because we're spending so much development on the front end, it'll be final graphic design.
Okay.
And then out the door.
Cool.
So I don't know if we'll meet the pre-Chinese New Year deadline to have it on a boat before that, but I'd like to have it in people's hands by April.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thanks.
The other game I wanted to quickly highlight was a game that we demoed called Aethereal War. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, the word ethereal. Is it A, or is the A silent and it's ethereal? I can never get that. Anyway, Nathan sat down with us and demoed with Ida Lee while I, again, stayed behind the camera, and showed us this particular game. And it's actually based off of a book that he wrote. So characters that you'll find in his sci-fi book will appear in this game, which is kind of cool. And it's, for the most part, a character battler of sorts. You will get a mission. In fact, there's several missions that you'll be embarking on. But you get a mission, and enemies come out, and using the character that you've chosen and the unique deck that comes with it, you're going to be playing cards using a currency called willpower and trying to defeat these enemies. You also get to roll some dice. Different dice values will, be a hit or sometimes be used for defense. He was using a 6-sided die, but he would like to get some custom dice made up from what I understand anyway. And it was a really cool idea. I like the idea that he actually took something that he wrote and made it an actual game. Now, this game, again, is also being developed. He's got a Kickstarter coming up in June of 2023. So he'll be seeking funding around that time. So, Idly, I think, and I were very intrigued by this one. We didn't get a chance to play the full game, but what I liked best about it was it kind of had this whole dice thrown mechanic where as you complete missions, you earn XP, and then you'll be able to get new cards that you can then use to build your deck. I love that. I love deck builders in general, and I love the feeling in an RPG of leveling up. So when I play a game like this, I'd love to look at some cards to add to my deck. Are you kidding me? Absolutely. So we didn't get to play it for all that long, but it also, intrigued us a lot. So my best to Nathan here. And again, thank you for showing us this particular game. And that just about does it. We did go around and talk to some other people, but unfortunately, it was just crowded and very loud. So the audio didn't come through as well as I would have liked. Next time I'll bring my shotgun microphone. But hey, we got to see some really cool games, so be on the lookout for the ones I mentioned. If you want to see a list of all the different developers that were at this thing, I'll put a link in the below description for you, and you can check them out for yourself. This is Vince, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you all next time. Take care.